So you're saying the reservation isn't in the system? These were the words from the hotel manager where I had made a reservation to celebrate my mom's retirement. What? I definitely made a reservation. I showed the manager my reservation confirmation screen. The manager smirked and retorted,
Could it be from a fake site? We have been getting a lot of people who say that and try to stay. Maybe your reservation is at the lower end B&B next door?
But then, Mom quietly mumbled something. My name is Rosie, a 40-year-old housewife. I live happily with my husband Walt, who's the same age as me, our 7-year-old daughter, 4-year-old son, and my mom. My father passed away from illness when I was young, according to what Mom told me. I hardly have any memories of my dad, but I never felt lonely because I had my grandparents close by. Mom worked hard to raise me. This year, Mom retired after more than 40 years of working at an elementary school. Up until now, it was difficult to align our family vacations with Mom's and my husband's schedule. Now that Mom is retired, we can plan family trips around my husband's long holidays. However, right after Mom's retirement was during spring break, a busy season filled with graduation trips, making it hard for Walt to take time off. That's because Walt works for a travel agency and is busy when everyone else is on vacation. However, for this summer vacation, Walt took a 3-day leave for Mom. We made a reservation at a luxury hotel that Mom had always wanted to visit. The kids kept asking, how many more sleeps until the trip? As if they were waiting for Christmas. Mom was thrilled to finally go to the luxury hotel she had always admired. It was a trip the whole family was looking forward to. Little did we know that it would turn into an unbelievable journey. Time passed, and the day before the trip arrived, we did a final check on our clothes and luggage, lining up our travel bags at the doorway. I went to the bedroom planning to go to sleep, but Walt couldn't contain his excitement.
Let's fully enjoy our 2-night, 3-day trip. First, let's go to that place.
He just kept talking from the bed. Tomorrow, Walt will drive us to the tourist destination we have planned. If you keep this up, you will be too excited to sleep, I said, finding his enthusiasm cute, and encouraged him to go to bed. Walt was still mumbling to himself, eager for tomorrow to come, so I played some sleep-inducing music on YouTube to help him sleep. It worked like a charm. He fell asleep, leaving me amazed that such music could actually make someone sleep. As for me, I can't sleep with noise, so unfortunately, it didn't work for me. I was planning to leave the house at 9 a.m. the next morning, so I had set my alarm for 6 a.m. When I turned it off, I noticed my husband wasn't beside me in bed. My husband, who rarely wakes up before me, was already up. Half asleep, I rubbed my eyes and headed to the living room. There, my husband was freshly shaved, his hair styled, already dressed, and making coffee. I was genuinely surprised.
Hey, Rosie, good morning. Want some coffee? You think mother-in-law will have some when she wakes up?
My husband was noticeably excited. Yeah, thanks. Mom said she would be up around 6 a.m. to get ready, so she should be waking up soon. I responded, still a bit surprised. Soon after, my mom woke up and enjoyed the coffee my husband had prepared. I was planning to wake the kids up at 7 a.m., but they were up by themselves around 6:30 a.m. I had only ever seen them wake up this early for summer break yoga classes. It made me realize just how much they were looking forward to this trip. We ended up leaving an hour earlier than planned because we were ready so quickly and the kids were urging us to go. We skipped breakfast and grabbed some snacks on the way, stopping multiple times at rest stops for bathroom breaks and to look at some souvenirs, even though it was early for that. As we got closer to our hotel's check-in time, we arrived at what was to be the highlight of our day, a high-end hotel. We unloaded our luggage from the car and the kids carried their bags towards the front desk. The receptionist welcomed us. At that point, I said, "Hello, we're staying for 2 nights and 3 days," and proceeded to check in. However, the staff member's expression changed and they walked into what seemed like a back office. When they returned, it was a different person who delivered shocking news.
I'm the manager of this hotel. I apologize for the inconvenience, but we don't have a reservation for you.
He politely apologized. My thoughts froze for a moment. Even as the manager was apologizing, I could tell he was smirking. Despite my protest that we did have a reservation, it seemed like my words weren't getting through to him.
So I'm telling you, we don't have your reservation.
He responded, becoming visibly frustrated and raising his voice. If you are going to say that, look at this, we do have a reservation. Showing my reservation screen, I confronted the manager. Yet, shockingly, the man responded,
Isn't this from a fake website? We have been seeing a lot of these. Is your reservation for the less fancy B&B next door?
He smirked, making a shooing gesture, and retreated into the staff room. I felt humiliated, unable to say anything more, and hung my head. Shortly after, my mom disappeared from the front desk, but not before saying loud enough for the manager to potentially hear, "This hotel's a joke." So mom grabbed her grandchildren's hands and said, "Let's just leave this place." We walked out of the luxury hotel. I apologized to mom, "Sorry, this wasn't the plan." But she smiled and said, "Don't worry about it. Let's focus on what we are going to do next." My husband, having observed our exchange, suggested,
Let's go back to the car for now.
You could sense the kids becoming uneasy, wondering if we would even have a place to sleep. Should we start calling around to find another place? But it was peak vacation season. Every hotel was likely booked solid. That's when I recalled what the luxury hotel manager had offhandedly mentioned. The B&B next door. I looked around, but there was no such building. I did a search for local hotels and one option appeared. With a sense of dread, I made a call. "Is it possible to stay at your place tonight?" The owner of the neighboring B&B gladly welcomed us. We drove over. It was actually a 10-minute drive away. At first glance, there was no eye-catching sign, but a closer look revealed the word hotel at the entrance. There was a large vacant lot in front of the B&B serving as a parking area. Despite our last-minute arrival, a lavish dinner was prepared for the whole family. We had our meal and the spa was just as luxurious as the previous hotel. Mom exclaimed, "I am glad they turned us down. This place feels more like home. Has plenty of rooms, it's clean, and the food is delicious. It's no different from a luxury hotel." The B&B owner heard this and smiled.
Thank you. We call ourselves a B&B, but we are actually registered as a hotel.
And when we brazenly asked if we could stay one more night tomorrow, he again said,
Please, feel free to stay as many nights as you like.
Later, as our family of 5 relaxed in our room, my daughter, who had been playing games on my phone, handed it to me. I wondered what was going on as I kept getting multiple missed calls, clearly not the time for gaming. Checking the numbers, it turns out the calls were from the luxury hotel we had just been kicked out of. Voicemails had been left every time, so I decided to listen to them. The calls were from the manager.
Hey, Rosie, can you come back? Please, come back right now.
This was the first voicemail. The name Rosie gave me the chills. The next message went like this.
Rosie, it's me, Vic. Please, if you don't come back, my dad might fire me.
It was late and I had had a drink. I had zero intentions of going back a 10-minute drive away. So I called the luxury hotel to confirm. First, the receptionist answered, but as soon as I verified the missed calls, the voice on the other end changed.
Rosie, it's me. Don't you remember? From college.
It was Vic, the manager. I had totally forgotten about Vic. He was an older classmate I had shared a seminar with for a year in college. He always bragged about how his parents owned a luxury hotel.
Oh, where are you staying? You must be struggling. We have an empty suite. Come stay.
Vic suddenly switched to a flattering tone, to which I coldly responded, "We are already staying at the B&B next door you recommended, so don't worry about us." But this guy wasn't one to give up easily.
I'll come over. Just hear me out.
He pleaded on the phone, but I declined, not wanting to cause any trouble at the B&B. Still, Vic appeared in the middle of the night. Fortunately, the B&B owner shooed him away, saying,
What are you doing here at this hour?
I heard about it during breakfast the next day. Did I do something unnecessary? I thought to myself. There was no doubt that I hadn't. If anything, I felt sorry for the inconvenience. After breakfast, we headed to our second-day destination. Fearing Vic might ambush us in front of the B&B, I was relieved nothing happened. Given the nature of the voicemails, I couldn't believe he would let it go so easily. We were cautious, making sure an adult was always with the children. Then, Vic called again. Annoyed by his persistence, I left the kids with my husband and headed to Vic's hotel with my mom. Once there, Vic began to apologize profusely. "What's the sudden change? Your attitude is completely different from yesterday," I said, visibly annoyed.
Vic replied, I'm truly sorry. I had no idea your mother was on the Board of Education.
In fact, my mom wasn't just an ordinary principal. She was also involved in the educational board and held in high regard locally. When asked why this happened, Vic confessed he had recognized me as his college junior and presumed that a fatherless poor family had arrived, hence intentionally lied about no vacancies. I was frustrated by the evil treatment and immediately posted a complaint on social media about being treated like that at a luxury hotel. I think at the time I was writing just the facts and my emotions. Soon after we were kicked out, Vic seemed to have called me after the upscale hotel suddenly received several calls with complaints. Apparently, the complaint calls were mainly from school officials. They told the parent company of the luxury hotel,
your staff lacks proper training. We are taking our future school trips to other hotels.
Vic found out my mom is well known in the education sector. He hoped she could help him undo the damage. That's why he kept calling, wanting to speak with me. My blog has a good following among my mom's friends and colleagues. She often boasts, "She's my daughter." Vic seems to think my mom spread the word on social media, but mom is technologically challenged. She can just barely use a computer. The blog post was all me. Vic, not knowing this, had been asking my mom to correct the blog. I burst into laughter when I heard, I'm the one who wrote it. Mom is absolutely hopeless with technology, I explained. While mom proudly pulls out an outdated flip phone from her purse and says, "See, it wasn't me. How rude." Nothing is scarier than my mom's smile. How dare you underestimate my daughter? Why did you assume we are poor? Mom confronts Vic with a stern look.
I thought people would drive beat-up old cars would be okay with a rundown B&B next door.
Vic stutters. It's true that we arrived in an outdated compact car. Our minivan was in an accident, so we were using a loaner. Vic saw the car and thought we couldn't afford a luxury car. An older man then walks in.
Customers are customers, no matter what. Haven't I told you this enough? You haven't been treating other guests like this, have you?
He scolds.
Owner.
Vic mumbles, avoiding eye contact. From their resemblance, he must be Vic's father. The owner starts shouting at Vic, who shouts back,
But this is a fatherless family. A single mom has to be poor. They shouldn't be staying at a high-end hotel like this.
The owner interrupts.
You fool! The only one tarnishing our hotel's reputation is you and your discriminatory behavior. You're fired.
The owner seems like a nice guy, but he is terrifying when angry. I can't believe Vic came from such a decent person. We are on vacation, so we'll take our leave. We don't want to waste any more time on this, I said, pulling mom away. The owner and Vic continue arguing in a corner of the lobby, drawing the attention of newcomers. Moreover, it was time for more people to check in, so people passing by the place were looking at them to see what was going on. Later, it turns out there were other discriminatory staff. They were all fired. Still, people who read my blog confirmed this wasn't an isolated case. The hotel's reputation tanked. Eventually, the hotel went under and had to shut down. Furthermore, the reputation of the group hotels in other areas also began to plummet. On the flip side, though not exactly as a replacement, the neighboring B&B started to thrive. The return of customers was largely due to the fact that I included the B&B in my blog. The owner of the neighboring B&B told me,
Thanks to the article you wrote, our struggling hotel has come back to life. Thank you.
Expressing their gratitude. In addition, travel agencies that had contracts with the luxury hotels started pitching deals to the B&B. However, my husband's travel agency took the initiative to secure an exclusive contract with them. My family and I really liked this B&B, and we have been visiting it 1 or 2 times a year since. As someone who writes a blog, I have been reminded of how powerful the internet can be in both good and bad ways. I have always written based on real experiences, but I'll be even more careful going forward to write articles that are actually helpful.